This is Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. From the corporate office to the cab of a truck, they're here to inspire and empower women in all professions. So gear down, sit back, and enjoy.
Welcome. We're an award-winning show dedicated to empowering women in every profession through inspiring stories and expert insights. No topics off limits on our show. We power women on the road to success with expert and celebrity interviews and information you need. I'm Shelley.
And this is Kathy.
The new year is always a time of celebration, reflection, and anticipation of new beginnings. People have hopes and dreams as the new year unfolds. We thought, what better way to ring in the new year than to feature three of our entertaining and inspirational guest celebrities who we interviewed on the Women Road Warriors podcast. We've talked with some incredible guests, so the decision wasn't easy. We decided to feature segments of our interviews with the country music trio Chapel Hart, international sensation and comedian Monique Marvez, and popular country singer Clare Dunn. It's our Happy New Year tribute to you, our listeners. So sit back, relax, indulge in your favorite beverage, and enjoy. Whatever you do, don't stop dreaming. Don't stop doing the things that you know that you can do. These are some of the mottos of the country music trio Chapel Hart. They're living proof that in spite of the odds or barriers, you can walk into Nashville and become a country music sensation. This terrific African-American female trio is breaking barriers and making headlines on the country music scene. They've appeared on America's Got Talent, The Today Show, Taste of Country, at the Grand Ole Opry, and they've been featured in Rolling Stone magazine, just to name a few. The Chapel Hart trio are Danica and Devin Hart and Tree Swindle. They're independent artists who have created their own roadmap by turning no's into notivation. They embody diversity as they inspire people with their music. We love to feature trailblazers, and these ladies are definitely that. They wowed Simon Cowell on America's Got Talent, and that is a huge accomplishment in and of itself. Two of their hits include You Can Have Him, Jolene, and This Girl Likes Fords. We have Danica, Devin, and Tree with us today, and we're excited. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being on the show.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, we are surely excited to be here. Thank y'all so much for having us. And look, we apologize in advance for whatever may fly out of our mouth, but I'll tell you what, we're oversharers most of the time, so you at least have it the down home truth.
We love it. We love spontaneity. You know, I love how you're breaking barriers, and I love your music. You're incredibly talented. Your harmonies and musical skills are impeccable, and people just love you. Have you always performed together? I see you became an official trio in, 2018?
Yeah.
Yes, Chapel Hart was official this is Tree, by the way.
Hi, Tree.
Chapel Hart officially formed in 2018, but we started out in New Orleans, and we were just a cover band. It started out with Danica and I, but it didn't take long for us to realize we were missing that third piece of the puzzle. So whenever Dev came along, that was around the end of 17?
I was in 18.
Okay.
In 2018. And so we kind of once we had all the pieces to the puzzle together, we were like, we have to start playing the music that really resonates with us and follow our own hearts. And so, we took the dive into original music, and Chapel Hart was born.
It's so cool. You guys are in the same family. Danica and Devin are sisters, and Tree, you're their cousin, right?
Right. Yes.
So as children, did you kind of harmonize? I mean, how did you know that you could work together like that?
I think that this is Danica, and I think the beauty of that is that so if the people are always like, oh my God, it's so amazing that y'all are a family band, but I think maybe even more amazing is that our grandparents had 17 children, and there's 108 grandkids, and so
wow, good God.
I always say when you were born into the world, when they slapped you on the butt, whatever key you cried in, they just put you in a section in the choir, the kids' choir. At any given time, we had a youth choir with all of us and our cousins, anywhere from 25 to 50 to 60 kids at one time in this little choir. And that's where it really all began for us. And having a family that large, music was always surrounded, everything was surrounded around music. as Tree said, we didn't even know we grew up in a musical until like when you grew up and thought about it, we were like, oh my God, everything was always music. And I think that's where our first love for music came from.
Well, when you start that young too, and you're singing with other people, you're not intimidated to do it. And what a great training ground.
I would think that like kind of when we started out singing in New Orleans, just Tree and I, we started on the streets. And kind of once we got our first couple of inside gigs, people would come and like watch the whole show from front to back. And in my mind, I would always just be so mind blown that people would stay and watch, because for us, it was just the two of us kind of being silly and singing two-part harmony. But people were just like blown away. And I was like, well, this is weird. Like, and so I guess maybe the beauty of growing up, surrounded by that type of that type of love for music.
Mm-hmm. That is so cool. And the variety of music that you were exposed to, and the fact that you decided to just basically bring your roots to the public. And
I love it.
You are trailblazers. You're not afraid of the barriers. And that's wonderful. And people love you for this. I mean, you are a wonderful example for women, African-American women, anybody who's thinking about going into country music, because that's got to be a bit daunting. Now, did you always sing country music growing up, or was it a little bit of gospel? I mean, what types of music?
This is Tree, and we grew up singing in the church, so gospel definitely played a big part, but also we grew up in South Mississippi, in Poplarville, Mississippi, to be exact. And country music is kind of just everywhere, and honestly, it's really the only kind of music that we could really relate to, because you might have songs about fancy cars and all the things, but growing up in South Mississippi, that really wasn't reality. But if you sing a song about riding an old truck through a field and playing outside barefoot with your cousins, like that really hit home for us,
right? And also too, I feel like we were in a special place musically, because they had a CMT put on a breaking glass ceilings event, and they honored Tanya Tucker and Patti LaBelle. And I was like, it's kind of like growing up in our houses. All of our aunties would listen to like blues and Patti LaBelle and all the things. Our grandpa, our papa listened to. He and his friends always listened to blues. And Tree, when she was younger, she sang in a mudbog band. So it was kind of rock infused. So to say that we grew up on everything is not an understatement.
That makes you a more well-rounded musician. Question: what is a mud dog band?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a mud bog, and
mud bog. Okay,
used to have like one of the biggest mud bogs like in South Mississippi. But for those who don't know what a mud bog is, imagine about the length of about a football field and a half, but that football field is filled with about 5 to 10 feet of mud, and people come from all over with giant trucks to race across. And
like my work. There you go. You'd be able to ace this, Kathy.
If they've got a big grand prize, we're nominating Kathy to come on our behalf.
Oh man.
Man, I just realized.
Yes, please.
We might have to hurry up and become international superstars so we can sponsor Kathy, because I feel like she would put a lot of these guys to shame.
And Kathy, you can bring your big truck and they'll all go, whoa.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's so cool. And so's your music. And the variety of music that you were exposed to. What inspired you to say, we're going to take this to the next level?
I think we just this is Devin. I think we just kind of reached that place where it was like, as when we were the cover band, it was like, okay, well, if we're ever going to, be taken serious, we felt like we wanted to be taken serious. We'd have to start writing our own music and kind of running it that way. And so we all kind of sat down and decided that we wanted to kind of go that route. And we just, I think that was kind of where it started, the base and started.
And this is Tree, and I'll kind of like continue that a little bit, because I kind of feel like once we did make the jump and start writing our original music, it kind of like dawned on us. Like, you can sing a great cover that someone's heard a million times, but whenever you put your own experience in your own story, when you put those words to paper, put those words to a song, and you see the way that, we see the way that our own personal experience is kind of like translated to these people hearing these songs, it's kind of like a responsibility at that time to go ahead and like extend that musical saga.
And I think for us, that we just kept kind of writing down like
it's funny. It kind of started as, it's like, well, what if we played this place? What if we played this place? What if we went on tour? What if we did this? And we started doing those things, and we started ticking those off the list, and we kept writing down off the list. And then it was, well, what if we ever, like, can you imagine if we would have went to the Grand Ole Opry? Like, can you imagine that? And then, or the Ryman. And next thing you know, we're playing these places. And so we always, a lot of times we'll be at our show and we dedicate certain songs to the dreamers, because I'm like, I think that's a big message for us is whatever you do, don't stop dreaming. Don't stop believing that you can do the things that you know that you can do. Sometimes you just need somebody to say, look, you got this. And you need to look at somebody and say, oh man, if they can do it, I can do it.
What do you say to the ladies out there who might want to go into country music, or even they want to be inspired by life? What kind of message would you give people so that when they're discouraged, hey, you still can do this?
Well, I feel this is true, and I feel like it's another one of those like a 3-part answers, because like you say, this is not by any stretch of the imagination an easy thing to pursue. But the one thing that I would have to say is just be yourself. It might not make sense to anybody else in the world, but if you're true to who you are, your people will come out of the woodworks. Now, they might be a little crazy like we are, but I mean, as long as you're you, that's really all you can do.
Be true to yourself.
That's it. I say find your tribe. Find the people who push you to be the best that you can be, that they don't let you slack. They don't let you just be mediocre. Find the people but also that they encourage you, and they find the right people, but also be careful what you're putting in you. A lot of times I feel like people just, are you listening at, nonsense music all the time? Sometimes you got to put on those motivational speakers, and when you got to hear them say, if you're not getting up and you're not putting this many hours into your craft and what you do, then you're just being lazy. And sometimes that stuff is harsh, but sometimes it's the kick in the butt that you need. And so I definitely say find your tribe, and just find and be careful what you're putting into you. Like, watch inspirational and motivational things, and it usually I feel like for me, kind of kicks you in the butt a little bit, and you go, okay, let's do it.
This is Devin, and I would just say go after the things that make you happy and the things that are ultimately gonna make you happy in the long run. Because life is short and life is hard, so you might as well do the things that kind of set you on fire and get you going.
I love it. You ladies are exactly what the doctor ordered, and I totally agree with what you're saying here. This is very inspiring. This has been an honor featuring you guys.
Thank you so much.
You can find Chapel Hart's music on chapelhart.com. If you want to listen to the rest of the interview we did with the trio, look for episode 139, or the title, Chapel Hart, Our Country Music Trailblazers, on the Women Road Warriors podcast. Again, that's episode 139, or the title, Chapel Hart, Our Country Music Trailblazers. Look for it on the Women Road Warriors podcast.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years. I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
If you're enjoying this informative episode of Women Road Warriors, I wanted to mention Kathy and I explore all kinds of topics that will power you on the road to success. We feature a lot of expert interviews. Plus, we feature celebrities and women who've been trailblazers. please check out our podcast at womenroadwarriors.com and click on our episodes page. We're also available wherever you listen to podcasts, on all the major podcast channels like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, you name it. Check us out and bookmark our podcast. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other sites. And tell others about us. We want to help as many women as possible. Here's segment 2 of our New Year's special. Enjoy. So much of being an adult that is challenging is the balance of responsibility and not having the luxury to say the truth about something because of the obligations. It's risky to say what you think. Comedian Monique Marvez likes to speak the truth, and she says what a lot of people think but are afraid to say as adults, and she does it in a very funny way. She does it on places like HBO and Dry Bar Comedy, and she plays to packed houses in Vegas. Monique is known for her sharp wit and hilarious observations on life, relationships, and cultural topics. She offers clever anecdotes on the absurdities of everyday situations. Monique has done 4 Showtime specials, 1 HBO Max special, as well as the Dry Bar special that's blowing up on the internet. It's gotten 190 million views on TikTok. She's also a 20-year broadcast veteran, screenwriter, author, and podcaster. Monique is genuinely funny with her perspective of the world and relationships, and she's so relatable to women. Men love her too, by the way. Monique is inspiring people of all ages, but especially Gen Zennials, who flock to her shows and see her comedy on social media. Monique believes in dreaming bigger. She also believes in the power of community and the power of love multiplied. People are responding worldwide. We have the pleasure of featuring this talented lady and learning more about her great perspectives. Welcome, Monique.
Thank you. I was going to say, don't oversell me. What an intro. I felt like Baloo the bear in the Jungle Book.
Oh, no, you deserve every word of that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Monique, you're super funny. You're super talented. You had me in stitches when I saw your stand-up routine on You'll Never Be Able to Change a Man. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, trust me. I and the comments in the comment sections are crazy under that clip. But what I try to tell people, it's comedy, but, behind every joke is a real thing, if you study Freud. And let's go 6 layers deep so people can make informed comments. Number 1, yes, I know the common denominator in my 3 failed marriages is me. Yes, I know that. Number 2, I'm very fond of what I call cosmic hacks, which is I love to give other people the opportunity to make different choices than I made. I love absolutely helping young women, forge a different path than I did, than my generation did, than my mother's generation did. So that's why my comedy, I never think about jokes. I think about, what do I want to say? What truth do I want to impart? And then I'm going to wrap it in bacon so they'll eat it.
I love it.
Yep.
Your perspective on the world is spot on, and I love how delightfully irreverent you are and how you tell it like it is. You say stuff women are thinking, and even men too. Have you always thought that way?
Yes. And I tell people what got me smacked, divorced, and fired is now paying my rent. As a child, I'll put it to you this way. My mother is extremely Catholic, and she sent me to Catholic school as a child. And it's so interesting how ahead of our times I was, because, at 6 years old, I remember thinking that there were 3 genders, male, female, and clergy. I was equally terrified of the nuns and priests. And I feel like I'm so grateful that religion didn't ruin God for me. I've always been extremely faith-based, separate from construct, if that makes sense to you.
Yep.
I just kind of followed my own path, my own bliss, my own way of speaking. And what's really interesting is that the most common comment my parents would get after I'd have a conversation with one of their adult friends was, wow, that's quite an imagination on that kid. Wow. And if you look up the definition of imagination and faith, it's literally the same thing. It's believing in something you can't see. It's creating and manifesting something you've never seen. So I've always been like this, whatever this is.
I think
Well,
it's
it's working,
marvelous.
so
You're the marvelous Monique. I love
thank you.
the way you think. I'm sure
Thank
when you were
you.
a child, though, you probably drove the adults a little nuts. I know I did as a kid, too. So,
Well, what's interesting about driving people nuts is that so much of being an adult, unfortunately, and I am the world's oldest Gen Zer, by no means am I an adult. I think what's very challenging for most adults, not me, is the balance of, sort of speaking in press releases. I'm not going to say that as people grow older, they get less honest. That's just too much of a blanket statement. But when people have mortgages to pay, children to raise, bills to pay, they don't have the luxury of, I hate my boss. Like that's just a truth they can't deal with. So, I made decisions throughout my adolescence and early adult years that I never wanted to put myself in a position that I couldn't tell the truth about, which makes me, virtually unemployable and evidently challenges relationships as well.
you like to forge your own path. There's nothing wrong with that. The people who are in the history books did that.
What a powerful thing to say to me. Thank you. I received that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Monique, when we were chatting earlier, you mentioned a cosmic hack. What is a cosmic hack for our listeners?
The kids always say, when they say they're going to hack something, what they're saying is shortcut, easy way.
Yep.
So to me, a cosmic hack is something with a spiritual intention behind it. I'm not bossing you. I'm not telling you how to live. I'm showing you what worked for me and what I think would go so much better for you because it is time tested. It is road tested. I already banged my head on the wall for you 52 times. Even if you want to bang it 32 times, if I can save you 20 bangs on the head, I've done well.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what a cosmic hack is. It's a love-based, spiritually inclined shortcut to life, to a better life.
So
Well
what are
said.
I love it. So what are some shortcuts that you could recommend for anyone really? Because people start over, start new at any age, but when they're at the beginning and not real sure, or even later, what has kept you going?
Well, I'm a sunflower. I'm completely motivated by love and warmth. Don't get me wrong. I love money. Boy, do I love money. And getting $1 million contract was unbelievably good. I celebrated at a very expensive Italian restaurant in La Jolla.
Hey,
But that's
why not?
the point. Nice. But to me, there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. It was written by Wallace Wattles in 1910, and he died in 1911. So it's a real mic drop. And it talks about, the difference between cash and currency. And what the kids get is energy. Everything is energy. So what I tell young people is trust yourselves. You have a life force in you that will direct you. No different than electricity going down a cord. I think of it in, again, spiritual terms being as a path being anointed, but you trust yourself. If you're in the middle of something and it don't feel right, and I use poor grammar to emphasize, it doesn't feel right. Stop where you are and get to the core of it. Why am I out of alignment? Because the straighter the cord, the greater the alignment, the more currency can flow. And currency is the precursor to cash. People have it backwards. They think when I have money, I'll be happy. And it's the opposite. When you have happiness, when you're in alignment, the money will come. When they say pick a job you love, but I go deeper. I talk about sort of the science of it. When you're in alignment, when you're going in the right direction with trust, with intention, the world's going to chase you down and catch you up and stuff money in your pockets.
Intention. That's a huge word, but it's very true. Yeah.
If your intention is to make money, you will make money. But I'm here to tell you that I have a dear friend who was the right hand of Elon Musk. I can't be more specific because he's a very singular person, But let's just say he was there when Elon took over Twitter. And we talked about this at length, he and I, because Elon Musk is not a happy person. He's not. He's the richest man on earth, not happy.
You know, they say that about a lot of rich people. Quite often that can be the case. But when you look at life, money is something that's man-made. There's so much more to life. Just walking outside for just a moment and really looking around, which a lot of people don't even do, you know?
Let me give you a perspective on that. As I'm walking, I was born and raised in Miami. I jokingly say in my act, the capital of Cuba. And I got off the ship and I walked. It's over 2 miles just to get to downtown Miami over the cruise ship bridge. But on that walk, I'm looking at buildings that have been here since I grew up. I'm looking at stuff that's been torn down. I'm looking at stuff that's been gentrified. I'm in the temple of my familiar, feeling incredible joy at where I came from. And I'm enjoying and savoring that moment. I have a timer on because I know I have to find a spot to sit quietly and talk to you, beautiful girls. But as I'm walking around my hometown, which is why I say it's the best day of the best day, and just feeling joy and remembering, like, my dad took me to this park, or this Whole Foods used to be a, fill in the blank. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to tell you what money is. Money, like any other strong force, alcohol, drugs, money is an accelerant. If you're not happy, you'll just be unhappier at a faster speed. It's an accelerant because people tell you yes, and people are your friends because you're rich and you're never quite sure. Like, it's not a guarantee of anything other than, and I've made a lot of money in my lifetime and I will again. It's a good haircut. It's nice shoes. It's valet parking when you're rushing around and can't find a meter. But it's not going to make you grateful if you're not already grateful. If you're ungrateful, it's an accelerant because now you're like, I have all this money and I'm still not happy. That's all it is. It's an accelerant. Just like when people say, when you're drunk, you're your real you. When you're rich, you're your real you. Doesn't change you. It just makes you whatever person. If you were a jerk, and you're a bigger jerk.
Right. You're just braver being it. Yeah, sure. You ought to do a TED Talk, Monique. You've got some serious sage and wisdom.
I love you guys. But I'm telling you, please manifest. I believe in the power of community. I know you have an enormous community that listens to you. I was so excited about joining you today. I'm like seeing the three of us. We can manifest anything and everything for the three of us.
Love it. Monique, you have energized me. You really have.
And me too.
That's the gig. That means I did it right. When we hang up the phone, you feel significantly better than when we started our conversation, then I did it right.
You sure did. Monique's insights are just incredible. She believes in cosmic hacks, which are time-tested and road-tested messages from her own life journeys. She offers love-based, spiritually inclined shortcuts to her audiences so they can find a better path through life. She tells people to trust themselves, see where they're out of alignment, because the straighter the alignment when you're going in the right direction, the world and success will follow. Monique has shared some of these insights with us along with her terrific philosophy, which is nothing short of inspirational. She carries that message to her audience wherever she entertains. And trust me, she is a funny lady. I was in stitches when I saw some of her shows. If you want to see some of her shows, definitely check out MoniqueMarvez.com to find out where she's going to be next. If you want to hear the whole interview we did with Monique, be sure to look for episode 123 on Women Road Warriors, or search for the title, Inspirational Comedy with Monique Marvez on the Women Road Warriors podcast. We can be found wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, that's episode 123, or the title Inspirational Comedy with Monique Marvez on the Women Road Warriors podcast.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years. I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
Welcome back to segment 3 of our New Year's special. Enjoy! Clare Dunn is an incredibly talented country music sensation. She's down to earth and taking the music scene by storm. She even knows how to drive a semi. A few years back, she and country music star Logan Mize collaborated on a trucker-themed music video called Get 'Em Together. The song was named by Rolling Stone as a country music pick of the week. Clare's been described by Rolling Stone as a performer who can do it all with a big voice, swaggering confidence, and soulful vocals. Bob Seger heard just one of her sound checks and invited her to open his Ride Out tour. She was named One to Watch by USA Today, Billboard, the Boston Globe, and Rolling Stone. Clare Dunn was born and raised in southeast Colorado, where she's worked on the family's ranch. Her debut single, Get Out, in 2013, got her ranked as the highest charting independent female artist on the Music Row Country Breakout chart in 10 years. She released her second single, Cowboy Side of You, in 2014. Clare had a major break on the SiriusXM channel The Highway, and after that, she signed with Universal Group Nashville and BMG. In 2019, Clare was part of CMT's Next Women of Country tour, where she took her talent on the road with Hannah Ellis and Cassidy Pope to New York, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and Boston. Clare's newest album is called Colorado.
She's with us today. We're so excited. Clare, thank you for being with us.
Oh, man, it's my honor. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for that introduction. I haven't heard a lot of that stuff in a while. So thank you.
You're amazing. And we'd like to know about your background. I was impressed when I first talked to you. I didn't know that you actually drove the semi in that video and that you can drive semi.
Oh, yes. Well, so I guess where that all started, I grew up on a farm and ranch in southeast Colorado and the Oklahoma Panhandle. And I have a sister, and it's just us two girls. And, you know, we just grew up working like any farm kids. If there was a job that needed to be done, we were taught how to do it. And driving trucks was no different than any, you know, it was just another job. So I love driving semis. It's a lot of fun. It's helped pay my way through college. It's helped me live in Nashville when I was first getting going. I used to come home and I drove a silage truck for harvest out here, and that really kept the lights on for a while for me while I was just getting my start in music. So driving truck is something that I cherish to be able to do it, and also, you know, not only just the opportunities that it's given me, but the community that it represents. You know, it's a great community and hardworking, salt of the earth people, and that's what I like.
Drivers keep America rolling. North America, Canada, the United States, you name it. Yeah.
World, yeah.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't notice that until they ran out of toilet paper in 2020, but I think, yeah.
Yes, it's been a challenging year for our trucking, you know, the people who make up our trucking industry. So I appreciate them so much, and was lucky to have been taught that appreciation long before 2020. So
You were taught quite a work ethic. Would you say that that's really helped you to make the strides you have in Nashville?
Oh, absolutely. I'd be nowhere without my work ethic, and whatever little bit of talent I was blessed with by God. I don't think it would have mattered, because it takes a lot of work to, you know, to be in music like it does to be in trucking and in any industry. And so what I learned on the farm, you know, working hard is just another day. It's like everyone listening, you know, it's nothing new. And it helped me to become a producer. It helped me to do things that a lot of girls don't do in Nashville. A lot of girls aren't tucked away in the studio, nerding out over consoles and turning knobs and making sounds and trying to get a musical vision to come to life. So my work ethic and really just being raised in an environment where there is nothing you can't do as long as you set your mind to it. All of that has helped me start playing guitar when I first moved to when I first went to college and moved to Nashville, and therefore helped me become a better songwriter and wanting to be good at my craft. And so yeah, I'd be nowhere without all the hard work and the work ethic I learned growing up. You bet.
You've got a tremendous voice, and you play a mean guitar.
Some days.
I love the songs you write. What inspires you to come up with the different themes and all of that?
Man, a lot inspires me. I think just how I grew up, out here, it's, we're on the high plains, and it's a huge, vast, wide open country, and it just goes on forever. It doesn't look like there's a boundary. You can see to the horizon. And I think that vastness has been a huge inspiration to me musically. I'm inspired by everything. And if there's an idea, I want to write about it, anything in life, love, dreams, what we hope for. I think just the stories of who we are as people, as who love the country way of life and who are in it or who admire it. All of those things inspire me. And being at home, I've gotten to be at home more. I still live in Nashville, but I've gotten to spend more time at the farm since COVID. And that freedom has really been inspirational to me because I feel like I'm here, or I get to see, I get to touch, I get to walk in the place that all of my music comes from, which is, out here where I grew up.
And that's important, I think. Would you say that gives you the ability to have more relatable music that the average person can say, hey, I can relate to that?
I certainly would hope that it comes through. There is a lot of, in this industry, there can be a lot of, I don't want to criticize anybody, but there's a lot of fake stuff out there. And I sure hope that my background comes through my music because it all comes from a very real place, and it's either a place of experience or a place of desire, but whatever it is, it comes from a real place. So yeah, I hope that shines through.
I think that there's a trend with a lot of listeners with country music. They want to hear more of the real stuff.
Oh yeah.
Get back to some of the basics and the roots of country music.
Oh, absolutely. I think that is very much wanted and needed in our genre. There's a lot of things trying to mask and masquerade around as other things in this world, and I think we definitely we need all the realness we can get. You bet.
What would you say in your career has been your biggest obstacle, and how did you get over it?
Wow. I don't know that there's necessarily been just one. I feel like it's been a long string of them in some ways.
Yeah.
But you just, no matter what it was or what it is or what it's going to be, I think life, just in general, life does throw you obstacles. And I think for me, I always go back to what, my mom is a very, very strong person, a strong woman, and a very inspirational force in my life. And she just will constantly tell me, there is no quit. It's not an option.
Yeah.
You may as well forget that it's a word. You may as well unlearn the definition of it. And to that, to that end, truly the only failure in life is if you quit. And that's the way I feel about it. I feel like you only have failed if you quit. And I think so much in this society, especially with social media, all day long, especially our young people and people my age and everyone, all we see on social media all day long is everyone's successes.
Yeah.
And that is intimidating because you see everybody else like, wow, they're so successful. And look at me. What am I doing? I don't feel successful at all. What people who are truly successful in life, people who were truly successful in life before social media, I think what they would tell you is there wasn't a light shown on their failures.
And they just kept going. And I think what is so important is any success you achieve in life is, there are many failures that come before it. And it's just part of the process. And I think that's the lie that we allow ourselves to believe, is that failure is the result. And it's not. Failure is a part of the success. And the only time failure becomes final is if you quit.
So, Claire, when you run into frustration, how do you deal with that? How do you get yourself out of a funk, if you will?
You guys have all the good questions. I think you just push through it. And, for me lately, since 2020, I love to, sometimes when I'm frustrated, I just have to walk away for a minute and then come back. I think one thing for me I've learned is that, don't beat your head against a brick wall. Go, kind of get off your own back for a little bit. And I think that's one of the things that's really been helpful for me is I don't kind of beat myself up as much as I used to. And just walking away from a project for a second, going outside. I love to go check cows. And that sort of, doing anything. I think it's important to have those small little things that you love to do, and taking little breaks along whatever it is that you're working on. And just kind of getting off your own back, I think is what helps me deal with frustration a little bit.
I think women tend to be harder on themselves.
Oh, yeah.
We expect more of ourselves than any man would ever dare think of expecting of himself,
Oh, yeah. Totally. We have to look a certain way. We have to, we have to have our hair done and our makeup and all this stuff and cute clothes. And, there's so much pressure put on ourselves, I think, by ourselves and exterior forces, you bet. So, yeah, in that regard, I'd like to be a man for a day.
Oh, it'd be so much quicker. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, and a lot of them don't shower. So they just, hey, they just show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's going to go my way. No big deal.
Right. Yeah.
Totally.
How did you get your first break? Did you do anything innovative? Did you have to say, hey, I'm out here? I mean, it's got to be difficult, especially in Nashville. That's got to be a super competitive town.
Oh, yeah. It's extremely competitive. And I would say it's become worse than competitive. It's become, not that I'm not up for the challenge, but I would never do that to somebody, but it's become pretty cutthroat. And I think that's the sad thing, that what I've seen the town transition into. It's become something else. But just in the general competitiveness, I think for me, I've never had any trouble. I'm a competitive person, but only against myself, if that makes sense. I don't look out at what anyone else is doing. I'm kind of like a racehorse with blinders on. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell what the horse beside me is doing, because I don't take my focus off of my goal long enough to take a glance at what anyone else is doing. Not that I don't wish everybody their own success. I believe there's room for everybody. I believe that there's no reason for anyone not to have their own success. And but for me, I think the way I deal with it is just, I don't worry what anyone else is doing. I don't pay attention to it. And I've got my dream and my goal, and whatever that is, I just keep my focus there. And that seemed to be, I think looking back, that was very helpful for me getting going and getting my break, because I didn't care what anyone else was doing. I didn't care what anyone thought of me. I didn't care if anyone thought I was nuts out there, driving around across the country in a pickup and trailer, me and 3 guys going and playing every dive, honky tonk, shack we could get booked into. Mm-hmm. And I didn't care about getting my hands dirty, putting in the hard work. I mean, there's a lot of people in Nashville who would never do that, and maybe have never done that, and that's okay. But it was just my path. And I think everyone just needs to be okay with whatever your path is. It's your path. It's there for a reason, and don't be afraid of it, and don't give a damn what anyone else thinks,
I like that. Yeah. Everybody's so worried about what everybody else thinks. They didn't give me a like. What am I going to do? Oh my God, my day is ruined, Oh my God.
Jeez.
Yep. And you have to be on 24/7 all the time. That's got to be tough too in being a celebrity and all of that. You have to constantly feel like your whole life's out there. And people want you to update them all the time because they're on their phone all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I've been pretty lucky just that I love music so much and I love what I do so much that I never really run out of content or things to say because I genuinely love music. And I could see where, if you are a very private person and maybe if you allow that boundary to be crossed, I think for me, I've been fortunate that it's been pretty easy to set that boundary of like my personal life, and my music life. And so those two things have never really crisscrossed. First of all, I wouldn't date a musician anyway. Good God, they don't know how to drive a truck or a tractor. So but it's funny. But the sucky part is trying to date, just a normal farmer or rancher or whatever. That's a little tough. But I just enjoy people. But I get there's days when I just get to come home and be out in the middle of nowhere. And that's really regenerative to me. I treasure those times of getting to be on the land by myself with the cattle or whatever I'm doing. And sort of that solace kind of fills the gas tank again. And then I just love what I do. So I'm grateful when I get to do it. I'm grateful when I get some alone time. I just try to keep it all in perspective because it's a dream and there's nothing better that I could imagine wanting to do. So, I think for me, it's just perspective and I love what I do.
If you want to catch the rest of Clare's interview on Women Road Warriors, look for episode 51, How Clare Dunn Became a Rising Star in Nashville. That's on the Women Road Warriors podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to check out Clare's music at claredunn.com. Kathy and I want to wish everyone a happy and prosperous 2025. Always remember to aspire higher and dream big in everything you do. You can do it. We hope you've enjoyed this latest episode. And if you want to hear more episodes of Women Road Warriors or learn more about our show, be sure to check out womenroadwarriors.com. And please follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. On our website, we also have a selection of podcasts just for women. There are a series of podcasts from different podcasters. So if you're in the mood for women's podcasts, just click the Power Network tab on womenroadwarriors.com. You'll have a variety of shows to listen to anytime you want to. Podcasts made for women. Women Road Warriors is on all the major podcast channels like Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Audible, YouTube, and others. Check us out. And please follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. If you want to be a guest on the show or have a topic or feedback, email us at sjohnson@womenroadwarriors.com.